YouTube, 2K might have to actually patch this build. With the way I manipulated the cap breakers, it is really that broken.
What you mean?
Yes, man, it really is me.
Who?
Missile, aka the instant burner, man.
Kaboom.
And today, YouTube, I'm gonna be dropping the best ISO Demigod 1v1 build in NBA 2K26. So if you're tired of getting boxed,
I need a screen.
if you want to cook defenders,
Come here.
be able to contest 7-4s,
No skill.
finish through contact, take the build to the park and play 2s or 3s, and still strap up on defense, this is the build for you.
Let's go.
But I'm not only gonna give you guys the build, I'm gonna give you guys my dribble moves, all my animations, and I'm gonna show you guys how to manipulate the cap breaker just in case you want to tweak a couple things for your build depending on your play style. So before we get started, it'd be greatly appreciated if you guys can hit that like button and subscribe if you love NBA 2K26, because I'm gonna be giving you guys heat all year long. Again, before we get into the build, I want to tell you guys again, bro, that this is just a template. I want you guys to, we all play different on this game, and this is just made as a template to make your build. You don't want to make your build, I feel like, exactly like a YouTuber's unless you play exactly like that YouTuber, if that makes sense. So if you need less shooting, put less shooting on the build. You need more dunking, put more dunking. You get what I'm saying? So you make the build to your play style so you can maximize and have the most fun on this game. But let's talk about the manipulation, or like I like to call it, when it comes to the cap breakers. And this build is going to be 6'7". You know, a lot of guys are making 6'7s, 6'8s. The reason I went 6'7 is because you get more attributes. You get more attributes at 6'7 than you do at 6'8, and you just seen, you can still, even before that, those clips were before the patch, you can still get contest on these 7-4s. You know what I'm saying? You want to be able to also, you know, when they spin, get a contest so they don't dunk on you if you like to play in the stage and things like that. Me personally, I wanted this build to be able to play everywhere, in the stage, in the theater, anywhere, and play any type of build and be confident and be able to guard the small guards, all that, bro, and be dominant in every game mode. So that's why I made this build the way I did that, and I feel like the best way to do that is if you are 6'7", you know. What we went with, and when it comes to manipulation, like I said, to manipulate these taller builds, the 6'7s, the 6'8s, it usually depends on your position right here. Depends on your position, and it depends on dunking and playmaking. You can, when I say manipulation, it means like you can put a certain category. Let's say like you're dunking. You can put your dunking to a 60, then use cap breakers and get it to like an 87 with the cap breakers. It'll be like +10, +5 instead of +1 like normally what you see with your cap breakers. So with the taller builds, it's usually driving dunk, your ball handling, and speed with ball. Just depends on the position that you make them. At power forward, which I made this build, at 6'7", it's your ball handle, speed with ball, and your driving dunk. If you make the 6'7" at small forward, shooting guard, something like that, it's only gonna be your driving dunk, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? So with me, I wanted to be able to make the build more well-rounded and be able to use my cap breakers so I could get more in more areas. So that's the reason I made it at power forward, and it has a cooler name at power forward. It's like a rim rocker or something like that at power forward. So it could be more versatile for you guys if you make them at power forward. But you got to remember, if you're somebody that likes to play in the theater, like I said, I like to play a lot of stage. But if you like to play in the theater and you make them a power forward, you're going to be playing against power forward. So you're going to be playing against 6'7", 6'8", and you're going to be playing against 7-4s, 6'10s that like to back you down. But with this build, you'll be able to guard all of them because it's going to be well-rounded. So just keep that in mind. If you want to play guards, you're going to have to put them in small forward, shooting guard like that, and you're going to have to manipulate the driving dunk, but you're not going to be able to make the build as more well-rounded, as I like to say. So just keep that in mind when you're making your build. Like I said, I made a power forward. We went 6'7". We went 6'7", and we went with, on the way we went right here at 210. What that's gonna do, it's gonna give me 90 speed, agility, and it's gonna give me, and we went right here, we went with a 6'8" wingspan because I wanted to be able to get a 93 so I can get the chef badge, so I can shoot from damn near anywhere. And you'll be able to get 96 perimeter, which eventually will give you, you know, your Hall of Fame on ball menace and things like that. So you'll be able to guard everybody, and you can still get that interior defense, and you can get it to, if you want to a 95, so you don't have to worry about people trying to back you down and spin off you. So you'll pretty much have the best of both worlds when it pretty much comes to everything. So I know I talked a lot. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to give you guys a rundown, but pretty much what we did, like I said, I wanted to be able to get this eventually up. So what I did with this build, because I knew I made this build before the patch before I did it with the contest, but I knew that was going to touch the contest. So I wanted this build to be contest proof, you know what I'm saying? So you can shoot through a lot of these contests and still make a lot of shots. So what I went with an 88. We went right here. We started this out at a 93. You know, it might seem a little high for you guys. If that's too high, you know, just change it. You know what I'm saying? Just change it. But I wanted to be able to get some of these shooting, so people have to really guard me in the theater, bro. You got to guard me from half court. You know what I'm saying? Eventually, when I use my cap breakers to get a 3-pointer to a 9. Let me see if I can show y'all. Yeah, because you're eventually gonna get your limitless range is going to go up. All these things are going to go up, and you can eventually get your shifty shooter to Hall of Fame if you guys want. But let me see if I can go to the takeovers. What I wanted to show you guys. Yeah, eventually the takeover I want to get is this deep bomber. But you got to have a, like you see on the side right there, you got to have a 93 ball. And I wanted to, and this is, in my opinion, is one of the best takeovers in the game. But I wanted to have the ability to get that takeover, so that's why I went right there. Me, like I told you guys, I'm gonna manipulate my ball handling and speed with ball, because that'll give me more attributes all around. So I'm not gonna manipulate the driving dunk. So we're gonna put the driving dunk to an 87. And if you want to make this build eventually for the park or something like that and get it to a 90 something, you can do that. Like, this build has a lot of growing to do, man. You can play with this build all year long, bro, as you get more cap breakers on the build. That's why I try to make this build the way I made it. You want to go with a 45 on the standing dunk. What that's gonna do, it's gonna give you your standing dunk animation. Let me see if I can show you guys. Oh, I messed up. Yeah, the animations. Yeah, it's gonna give you these right here, bro. You always want to have something under the rim, just in case you're under there and you want to dunk. So you want to get you want to have your standing dunks. Your standing dunks take a 45 standing dunk to get there. You got to be 6'5" or taller. So I wanted to get those, so that's why I put that to right there. Ball handling, like I said, is what we're gonna manipulate. But with this, you usually can manipulate it at 60. 60 is usually fine to manipulate something like driving dunk or something like that. As you see, that goes down. But with this, I wanted this to get to a 86. I wanted this to get to an 86. To get it to an 86 with the cap breakers, this has to be 70. Has to be 70 right there. And I wanted to also maximize, just in case I wanted to, if I wanted to maximize my speed with ball, which could maximize it like, I think 82. To get that there, you would have to put this to a 63 right there. And the reason, like I said, let me see if I can show you guys. The reason I wanted to get this up is because eventually I'm gonna want my ankle assassin to go on silver. Ankle assassin on silver is crazy. If you know, you know, on this game, you feel me? So that's why I did that the way I did that. I have it actually on the build, as you guys seen in the intro clips. But on to it. We're not gonna mess with the pass act. What we're gonna do, we're gonna go to the parim, and we wanna be able to guard people and have a chance. So I feel like the sweet spot to start out with is always 92. It's gonna give you a gold challenger, and it's gonna give you your own ball minutes to also to gold once I get everything up. I didn't really mess with the steal, man, because steals are just like non-existent in this game, bro. So I feel like there's no need to even waste that in this game, you feel me? So we went right there. Interior defense, if you're not somebody that's gonna play in the stage, or you're not gonna be playing, and if you made this build a small forward or shooting guard, don't mess with the interior, bro. Put these caps somewhere else. But I like to play in the stage. I like to play against the big men. You know, I like to build to be all around, so I put this right here. And what that's gonna do is gonna eventually put your post lockdown on gold. I gotta put my strength and all that up in a second, so you'll see that. Right here, what you want to go with, I went with 88. Like I said, I want to be as fast as possible to guard some of these little guards and, you know, in the paint. So we put that right there. Agility, we put this at an 85. And like I said, strength, we're gonna put that at an 85. Strength is important, man. You get better bumps. I have builds with no strength and builds with strength. If somebody tells you you don't need strength on your build, they're lying, bro. You get way better bumps, way better cutoffs when you have at least some strength on your build. So, like I said, it's gonna give you my post move lockdown on gold, and you can +2 it if you're gonna be playing the stage against the 7-4s, so it can't spin off you. So it's a lot of room for growth, like I keep saying. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of room for growth. So that's where we went right there. Didn't mess with this. Then the next thing, I never want to go out without having my driving layup to a 70, because it's going to give you your physical finisher so you can hit more of those tough lays. So I like to put that right there. Then once you do that, you can pretty much put it wherever you want to put it at. You know what I'm saying? You still have some left over. That's pretty much the build right there. What I would do, I would put it on something like, you put up your 3-ball right there if you want to. Then, you know, you just put up your standing dunk and put the rest right there. Boom, that's pretty much the build without cap breakers. And once you do that, you're gonna see, look, Kawhi Leonard, Jason Tatum, and Bam. Look at the name, two-way rim rocking stretch, man. W name, bro. W name. Y'all let me know what y'all think about that name right there. Okay, and when it comes to the SIGs, I couldn't put some of them on because, like I said, I used cap breakers. But my dribble style is gonna be eventually Zach LaVine. You gotta have a 75 to get it, but like I said, I can't do it right now. So it's Zach LaVine. If you don't use Zach LaVine, I feel like the next best one is Tyrese Maxey. You can use either one of those. My signature, I'm using Trace McGrady. Again, I cannot get it just of yet because I haven't did that. Breakdown, I'm using Stephon Marbury. Can't get that yet without my cap breakers, so it's hard for me to show y'all some of this stuff. Escape, we all know, Jimmy Butler, or I like to use Paul George, either one of those. Combo moves, I'm using KD, Kevin Durant. Crossover, we're using Lonzo Ball, can't get that right now either. Behind the back, I'm using Kobe White. Spin, we're using Penny Hardaway. Hesitation, I use KD. Step back, we use D-Book, can't use it right now. Triple threat, I like to go with the Kobe Bean Bryant, man. RIP to my boy Kobe in the comment section, man. But we're going with Kobe right there. Go-to shot, I don't really use this too much, to be honest, bro. I don't even know what I got on. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't know what I have on. I think I got on something with a W, bro. Let me see. Yeah, I got on this one. This is the one I got on right now. Walker. Do a pull-up, Pro 2, or Booker. I think I had on Booker in most of this. So Booker right there. Spin, I just use Pro. Hop jumper, I use Dylan Brooks. Dunk style, we can get into my dunks in a second. Layups, Zion, false swing, Eric Gordon. I'm gonna try to speed through this, I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna try to speed through this. Zion, post fade. I don't know what's a good post fade. Y'all let me know in the comment section. I don't feel like Luka's a good one, so please don't. You might not want to use that one. These I don't really use at all. I don't really use none of the post game, so I don't even know which one's a good one for that. Motion style, I am using, I'm actually using Caruso. Now that's Caruso, and that's it for that. I will be dropping my jump shot videos, so if you guys want my jumper, bro, you definitely want to subscribe, turn those post notices. I will be dropping that very soon for all you guys who want that. Dunk style, I keep mine simple, bro. I don't like to get blocked, so pretty much all I go with, quick drops. We just go with the quick drops right there. We go with all the standing dunks. We put both of those on right there. And that's pretty much all I have on personally, because like I said, I don't like to get blocked, and all those dunks are unblockable dunks. And you know, you put on your alley hoops, put all those on too. Put all these guys on. Yeah, but that's pretty much it. Like I said, you just manipulate the ball handle. The ball handle and the speed with ball, and you guys will be totally fine with the build. You guys let me know what you think of the build, the build of W or L, and let me know what you guys would change. Also don't forget to hit that like, it'd be greatly appreciated. Don't forget to sub up for more great content, and y'all already know who it is. Burn up.